Hey everyone, Ryan here, or MandRproductions, and this is my review of the 2024 LEGO Star Wars Advent Calendar. Given set number 75395 with 368 pieces, it retails for $45, which has been the new price of Advent calendars for the last couple of years after about 10 years of costing $40, so a slightly higher price than maybe you're used to. Now on the box it has a logo celebrating 25 years of LEGO Star Wars, however, a little spoiler for you, there's no 25th anniversary minifig inside, nor is there something like a 25th anniversary brick, which we saw in many sets this year, so the logo is just for the looks. Speaking of looks, I think they did a great job with the box art for this one, as it's set inside of a hangar on Hoth. You have the snowspeeder off to the right, the Christmas tree front and center. I love Vader's castle. It's kind of the snowy mountains of Hoth, but Vader's castle has lava around it. When you look at the back, you get a preview of the advent calendar having been opened so that people maybe looking at this on a store shelf know exactly what they're getting into, and it shows off a couple more builds. I don't know if they've done this in previous years, but I just noticed that for the 1-to-1 scale figure on the top of the box, they actually show Leia inside of one of the mini advent days inside of the calendar. That's a really neat way to do the box. That's just a cool thing. Anyway, having opened the advent calendar, getting that bottom panel to stay down took no convincing at all. It just stays down, which is good, and that leads us into how do you actually operate an advent calendar. Well, most of you probably know you just go day by day, December 1st to 24th, or if you're like me, you just open all 24 days as fast as you can as soon as you get it in September. But to open any individual day, you just push in on the little tab and then you pull out, and the first day, spoiler, is an X-Wing. Now, having opened and built all 24 days worth of gifts, I ended up with 6 minifigs, and that's what we're going to take a look at here first. I'm going to go in order from my least favorite to my favorite in the set, and something I couldn't fathom 5 years ago saying is my least favorite thing in a set would be the 501st Trooper, yet here we are. And the reason for that obviously is the helmet on this one having the double hole thing that I just think looks incredibly goofy and bad. Some people don't care. If you don't care, then my opinion doesn't matter to you, but I think it looks bad, and so for me it's my least favorite thing here. The rest of the clone is pretty great though. You get the regular clone face underneath, you get a lot of great torso, leg, back printing, everything else looks good to me except the helmet. Moving on, we get a new super battle droid. It's not new for this set, but it does give you something to fight against that 501st Trooper. I love this super battle droid. I think the updated mold is fantastic, and they did a great job just slightly modifying it to bring it up to date for 2024. Next, we have a Praetorian Guard, which a lot of people were very excited to see in this set because in the Paz Vizsla vs. Moff Gideon set in the summer of 2024, we only got 2 Praetorian Guards, when in the scene there were actually 3 Praetorian Guards. And so this, for a lot of people, is a way for them to get that 3rd Praetorian Guard. You know, maybe they were going to buy the advent calendar anyway. They bought the other set already, and so to them it's just completing that trio. I think the trio should have been included in the original set anyway, but if you're in that bucket of people that wanted a 3rd Praetorian Guard and you wanted to buy the advent calendar, well, you're in for a bit of a treat here. It's a great figure. Next up, we have Ahsoka. This is the same Ahsoka that we saw in the T6 shuttle in the summer of 2023, so if you've already got that T6 shuttle, you don't necessarily need this, but it is a very nice figure, and as an advent calendar that might be being given to kids or adults that just don't have one of every set, like the advent calendar to me is a much more broad appeal thing. Like just having something like a really nice Ahsoka figure in a set like this makes so much sense to me, and I love her. I think they did a great job. I just almost wish she was a holiday version because she had her own show. It would have been cool, but still a fantastic, well done Ahsoka minifigure. I said a lot of good things about her in my review of the T6 shuttle, and so I don't feel like repeating myself. Now, the final 2 figures are the Luke Skywalker with his holiday sweater. I love that he's got Tatooine on there. It's got the dual suns represented with little red dots there, and then on the back he's got a little sandcrawler with snow on the top. Like the amount of detail put into these Christmas sweaters is fantastic, so I think they did a great job with Luke, and you're getting that newer hairpiece that you might like, you might hate, but you might like it. I think it looks pretty good here, and he's got the 1 black hand and the 1 tan hand. And finally, we have my favorite figure in this set being Princess Leia with her Hoth sweater. I love seeing the AT-AT front and center on her sweater. You've got the snowspeeder flying by, and you've got another AT-AT smaller, so because it's further back there, you got snow falling, and then if we look at the back, you actually have the shield generator, another snowspeeder, and a little tauntaun. It's just super cute. I think they did such a fantastic job bringing these sweaters to life for Luke and Leia here, and it's a great combo, obviously. I love the Christmas sweaters. They did a great job. I want my Santa figures back, man. Couldn't we have also had a Santa figure? Just some wishful thinking. There's no Gonk droid this year, so that's kind of sad. They've been doing pretty consistently gonk shard in each of the advent calendars, and this year we didn't get one. So I hope to maybe see him back next year, but yeah, just not present. Moving on to the builds, there's only a couple of them that I really don't care for in the set. First up, this Y-Wing. I just think the front end looks a bit funky. I wish that was just done better. I also think like a Captain Rex's Y-Wing or Clone Wars Y-Wing would have been a better fit given the timing, but it's a Y-Wing. Most people just, Y-Wing, whatever. The one I really, really don't like is the Crimson Firehawk. And it's not because it looks bad. It's just so woefully irrelevant and like, who cares? But 4-year-olds, I guess. And I also think the placement of this within the advent calendar is probably my least favorite day placement of a thing of all time. And that's a weird thing to complain about, but it's an advent calendar and the days are probably somewhat carefully thought out. Guess which day this is, guys? Guess which day the Crimson Firehawk comes on? Day 24. It comes on the last day. After weeks of waiting in anticipation of what could come the day before Christmas, you get a Crimson Firehawk. I mean, I'd be disappointed if I was 5 years old. I'd be expecting a Santa Claus figure. That's why they need to bring Santa Claus figures back for day 24. But yeah, we used to live in a society, and we don't anymore because Crimson Firehawk is day 24 of the advent calendar. This next grouping of builds are ones that I like, but I wouldn't necessarily consider like upper echelon of advent calendar builds. And we'll start with the T6 shuttle, which I can't tell if the intention is to be based on the Clone Wars or the Ahsoka show. Either way, it's a T6 shuttle, and it can look quite nice, especially in the landed position. It's got the cockpit. It's got a pretty nice job trying to recreate the paint job on the backside. It looks even uglier than the official LEGO model, but, it's a micro build. What do you expect? So I think it's fine. It's a nice inclusion. We've also got the Mandalorian Starfighter from the Clone Wars. Also looks nice. Of course, the wings don't fold up or anything. You're not getting any functionality there like you do on the full-size models. Here I've got the Palpatine shuttle, which I think actually looks great until you actually want to display it or like put it down, I guess. I don't know. Do you display these? But regardless, like it can't hold itself up in a flying position, and all you would need to fix that is like a couple of clear cylinders and a plate piece attached to the bottom. Like, is it too much to ask? It's the only build in the set that would require it. It's not like you have to go and add 10 other builds at the same time, which is going to increase your part count by 40 in this set. We're talking 2 or 3 pieces would have made the difference on this one. And the landed position, I don't know, the wings just don't fold up super well, so it just looks awkward because of how small it is. So I just wish they included a couple of bricks to hold it up, basically. Like, that's all you needed on this build. It looks so good, though. Palpatine shuttle. Nice one. Next up, we have the Razor Crest. I like the Razor Crest. I just think they've done better micro versions of the Razor Crest in the past. So not a bad build, but just not upper echelon. And then finally, the AT-AT, which you have to have in a set that has the box art of Hoth. The legs are a bit skinny. It's micro. What do you expect? Like, it has slightly awkward proportions, but it's cool enough for a small little AT-AT. And I love this, that you can rotate the head a little bit. You get that extra bit of life to it, even though it's so small. Just having that head tilted just adds a lot to it to me, so I do like that. This next group of sets here didn't quite make my fave 5 for the year, but I do think that these are fantastic builds. We have Luke's land speeder up first. They had to get it out of the system, and I guess the advent calendar is a good way to do that. You've got the micro C-3PO and Luke Skywalker representation in there. I think that's awesome, and just overall, it's a really good micro build. It might be one of the best of all time. I know I said it wasn't making my favorite list. My favorites don't necessarily mean the best or the worst build. So yeah, fantastic build there. Next, we've got a classic style Millennium Falcon. Simple build, but definitely looks very good. And it's got the translucent blue thrust at the back. Maybe the worst part is that big tan piece on the bottom. Probably should have been gray. See, the Ghost gets gray on the bottom, but the Ghost also looks very good. Nice splashes of color on top. You've got the windscreens in the proper spots. So yeah, the Ghost is also a fantastic micro model there. The Venator also looks very nice at this scale. They've done a great job. This is not one of the like color variations. I think this is just straight up supposed to be a Revenge of the Sith or standard style Venator, unlike the UCS one. Next, we've got the U-Wing, which there's now rumors of for 2025, so that makes this feel extra cool to me. Definitely been a while since we've seen a U-Wing in LEGO Star Wars form, so I really appreciate seeing it here. And finally, Yoda's Starfighter, which, look, it's got awkward proportions. It doesn't quite match the IRL, or I guess the bigger look. IRL is not really the right word there. But we got R2 on top. We got the thrust at the back. And my favorite part, by far, is the green part on the inside to make it look like Yoda's actually sitting inside of his own starfighter. Just a genius design there. When it comes to my 5 favorite builds, I like them for some different reasons. First up with Vader's Castle, simply because it's a good build. They did a great job making a micro Vader's Castle. They also did a great job making a micro Jabba's sail barge. This is something that I don't think they've ever done or attempted before, but yeah, for something that's only like 10 or 12 pieces, it looks great, and of course fits well with the theme given the UCS set releasing coming around the time of this advent calendar. And then we've got one that's just kind of fun for the fans, the mini kit. Like, who doesn't love a mini kit from the original LEGO Star Wars games? So I thought that was a great inclusion, something that we've just never seen released in LEGO Star Wars before. And just kind of out of the blue, you get a mini kit in this advent calendar. But perhaps the coolest builds in this advent calendar to me are these throwback builds, done in the colors of the original for the 25th anniversary, the TIE Fighter and X-Wing. I guess at the beginning of the video, I said there was nothing in the set that really felt specific for the anniversary. And as far as like figures or plates with prints on them go, yeah, but like these are definitely anniversary feeling, I guess. The X-Wing and TIE Fighter, just in their OG color schemes, look amazing here, and I appreciate so much that these were done the way that they're done. I would love to see more stuff like this in the future. I have no idea what specific applications you could have with this, but I mean, what an idea to throw in for the 20th anniversary. These are lovely. I think it would be very hard to be super unhappy with this advent calendar. I think for $45, it provides a pretty fair value. You're still getting those 24 days of excitement, and especially as a gift for kids, this will always hit. Even if everything in this advent calendar sucked for like hardcore fans, like a 5-year-old just doesn't care. And for an advent calendar, like this is one of the few sets of a year that I could look at and be like, yeah, whatever, you know, like it's like a 4+ set in that way where I just like, yeah, whatever, if it's bad, I don't really care. And, you know, I do wish we could get some Santa Claus figures back, but I do still like the sweater figures that we have. Like there's definitely some positive attributes there, and they did a great job with the selection of the builds this year, and especially getting in something a little different for the 25th anniversary to make the advent calendar feel extra fresh. It's hard to rate an advent calendar on a scale of 1 to 10. There's just so many different factors at play with something like this. Like if you're buying it for a kid, it's basically a 10 out of 10 slam dunk gift every time. But for a collector, you know, that has different priorities, maybe you wanted another Santa figure like I did, or, you know, wanted a better clone trooper like I did. You know, there's just different priorities people have with stuff like that. Maybe it's something like a 7 or 8 out of 10, you know, just because you wanted something different there. You wanted to stand with your Palpatine shuttle. Just little things like that that might nick the set. But otherwise, yeah, it's a good advent calendar. $45 seems fair. Like the advent calendar pricing is probably the least changed pricing over the years with inflation. So this has been my quick review and thoughts on the 2024 advent calendar. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and please, LEGO, put something cooler in the 24th day next year.